Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. It's Patricia Potter. We'll go ahead and get started here. We appreciate everybody joining today, and I just want to go ahead and welcome everybody on the call today. Today from STS, we have Nancy Honeycutt. Nancy is the STS National Database Manager for the Adult Cardiac Surgery Database, as well as Intermacs and Pedimacs. We have Carol Crone. Carol is the Director of the STS National Database. We have Leanne Jones. Leanne is the manager of the General Thoracic Surgery Database and Congenital Heart Surgery Database. We have Emily Conrad. Emily is the patient safety manager. She is an essential part of the audits as well as the planning and coordination of AQO. And then today, also from STS, we have Addie Dolan. Addie is the STS National Database Coordinator and will be talking to us today about the Data Manager Collaborative. And then I'd also like to introduce my colleagues here at Kirkland Solutions. I believe today on the call, we have Maceo Cleget. Maceo is the analyst for all the reports. He gets them all packaged up to be sent out. He's also responsible for the verification of the data in the reports. And then we also have Jeannie Ann Love. Jeannie Ann, I'm sure you all know Jeannie Ann. She works on the transfers. She does data edits, setting up usernames and passwords. So thank you everybody for joining. Today, I'm going to be going over the upcoming edits we have coming to the data collection forms. At the end of the webinar, we'll have some time for Q&A. This is a great time to ask any questions you may have. So go ahead and put your questions into the Q&A function. So like I said, today we have Addie Dolan with the STS here joining, and she is going to talk to us about the Data Manager Collaboration Program. Addie, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Patricia. Hi, everyone. You may know me if you have ever emailed the STS database operations team at stsdb@sts.org, or if you've needed to update the database contacts at your site. Before we get started, I did just want to give you a reminder that the annual contact update is currently going on. This will be for your STS annual participation invoice. So please do make sure that you go ahead and review your contact list and update your surgeons and billing contacts as needed. If you have any questions about how to do that, please feel free to reach out to the database operations team at stsdb@sts.org. And I'll go ahead and put that in the chat in just a moment. But today, what I'm excited to talk to you about is the STS Data Manager Collaborative. So this program we launched earlier at the end of summer earlier this year. And you may know it by its former name, the Data Manager Mentorship Program. We have rebranded the program and we're pivoting towards a more collaborative approach where you don't need to be an expert to be involved. We are hoping that this is going to be a supportive network for you to ask and answer any questions that you have related to data abstraction. So online, we have put together a list of FAQs, including the benefits of participating. Participating in the program will provide functional support for your role. You'll be able to ask and answer pressing questions related to data abstraction, create new connections, build part of your network, and be part of a professional community. Also in our list of FAQs will be some of the questions that we're hoping that you can have addressed by participating. So these are going to be questions related to workflow, like what are the general rules of data abstraction? How do I collaborate with my surgeons? How often should I meet with them? Education questions, like what resources are available to me and where do I find them? And many others. A full list is on the website. So if you are interested in signing up, we'll ask that you complete a short sign up form linked there, and I'll link it in a moment in the chat as well. The sign up form will ask for your name, your email, database component, and a few other factors such as your software vendor or EMR. And we'll try to match you as closely as possible on all factors. Once you're matched, we'll follow up with you with the contact information of your match. And then you can go ahead and get started discussing how you want to meet and via Zoom or email or phone, and how often you would like to meet, and what questions that you have. One thing to note is that if you did previously participate in the mentorship program, we will ask you to sign up again if you are interested in participating in the Data Manager Collaborative. So if you have any questions about participating or signing up, or again about your database contacts, please do feel free to email me and the database operations team at stsdb@sts.org. Thanks, Patricia.
Great. Thank you so much, Addie. Does anyone have any questions for Addie while we have her on the line? If you do, you can put them in the Q&A. Okay, well, I don't see anything. Thank you so much, Addie. Really appreciate it.
Oh, but I see one. Oh, sorry, go ahead. There is one question in there, Patricia. I didn't know if you saw it, but it might not be specific for Addie.
Yes, we do have one question. Is this for Addie? Need a specific instructions in a Word document on how to get data organized and download in Excel. The reason is after some time, the attendings data downloading investigators forget how to. So I think you're asking about live data downloads. Is that right?
I just, this is from Kashem. I just,
Can you
go
hear me?
ahead.
Yeah, I'm from Temple University. I'm one of the investigator here, faculty. And every time our, STS data managers and everybody is doing a wonderful job, and data are collected, routinely in the database, which we have, some of us have access. But many of the investigators, when say we want to download some LVAD information or some, let's say, infective endocarditis, mitral valve, and specific information that we want to get downloaded. And I consulted some of your manager, and she was wonderful, instructing and same time helping me download some data, specific data. The question is, if you come back, 1.5 months later or 2 months later to find out another aortic valve project that chief wants to, explore, and by the time you forget your the training and instructions. So is there a way that in the website STS where the data are collected, in the corner there could be a help or something that you put a Word document how to data download, like choosing respective variables and do this and do click this and then download in Excel. So there will be a small instruction, 1-page instruction will be very helpful. That's what I wanted to mean.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So yes, we do have this information available. I don't know if you had attended any of our AQO sessions or the virtual AQO session, but we do have an entire talk on live data downloads and kind of walk you through different examples. But we do have this information, and I
No,
can.
I meant in the website, STS website. I mean, where we have the data.
on the STS website.
You
think
know,
what-
when you respectively putting your ID, password, and you get in, and you can see your single center data and information. Also some national data which are obscured. But our center specific data, how to download, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, like right where they log in to get the data,
Right,
Patricia.
right.
Yeah,
Do we
so,
have links there for help already?
sorry, Carol.
Oh, go ahead,
This-
John.
No, that's okay. I'm sorry I was late too. So, Kashim, this is John Pennington. I'm the
Yeah.
data manager for
Yeah,
Intermacs.
yeah, I know.
Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
So Patricia, I think it would be simple enough to have like a Zoom video just to show where to go to click those links. But really the piece that you're looking for, I think, is the knowing what to select on which form. And
Right.
that information is on our data dictionary. And this stuff, like they said, is all on the website. But it's not within the web-based data entry login. So, Patricia, maybe we could, or Carol, like have the devs add a hyperlink that redirects to the appendices for the data dictionary.
Yeah.
I don't know about embedding the video. Like we could record something like that for you, Kashim, like 2 minutes on Zoom to have a video to show where to click. It's more of the knowing what to select and where when you want to
Right, right.
subset those forms or find the correct forms, and that's in that spreadsheet. But it's not going to be like a video won't help you there. You just have to refer to the documentation.
One
Right.
thing I think might be helpful, John, is the just taking screenshots. So it's a document with just screenshots of where to click, what to click, just simple scroll through it kind of thing.
Yeah, and I just looked at the FAQ. Patricia, you add that additional stuff to the user's guide, and we don't have anything in the FAQ about retrieving the data. I think, Carol, I've got emails from where I've helped people with this same question that I could probably pull screenshots from. We can get you something though. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Appreciate that. Okay, so I guess we don't have any questions for Addie, so I'll go ahead and continue on here. AQO was fantastic. Thank you all. Thank you to all that attended, and a huge thank you to all of our wonderful speakers. We have some important dates coming up. The Q2 reports will be distributed September 30th. And the data entry deadline for the Q3 reports and Q3 report and SAS data sets is October 31st. And again, thank you for everybody that attended AQO 2024. We had some really amazing presentations with some great content. All the lectures and live discussions that took place during AQO were recorded. The on-demand sessions are now available, and the live sessions will be available early October, and I believe they'll be there until mid-December. Don't forget to evaluate the sessions and to claim your continuing education credits. To receive continuing education credits, you must watch all the demand and live content for the days you attended, and then evaluate all the presentations. The deadline for claiming credit is Friday, December 13th of 2024. We'll also be hosting a Hot Topics webinar Tuesday, October 29th. All that attended AQO or purchased the virtual pass are welcome to attend. We'll have some great speakers along with time for discussion and questions and answers. AQO 2025 will be in person next year. The date has not yet been announced, but stay tuned for that. The discussions right now are either having it in Chicago or New Orleans. So lots more information to come for that, and stay tuned. So now I'm going to just talk about some upcoming edits we have to our forms. We have added a question to the medication form. The medication form is on both pre-implant and follow-up. We've added some child fields for the Coumadin question. So if you answer yes, the patient is on Coumadin, there'll be some child data fields of when did the patient start on Coumadin, and we're collecting lower and upper limits for the INR, and then when was that first achieved. So that will be coming up probably in the next month or two. That change will be made. And then on the comorbidities form, again, the comorbidities is collected pre-implant and on follow-up. And so we're just adding some helper text to the stroke timing. We're adding the text for recent within 30 days of visit and for remote greater than 30 days of visit. And then on the implant side, we're adding a child question to the device brands, Centramag and Tandem Heart. If you select either of those device brands, you'll see a child question asking if a Protect Duo cannula was used. There's been lots of discussions about Protect Duos. So Protect Duos are used with either the Thoratec Centramag or the Tandem Heart. And so we're now collecting if a Protect Duo cannula was used. So there is a child question if you select one of those device brands. And then our last edit to the explant form, we're adding some helper text to remind you not to complete the explant form just because an oxygenator is added to an RVAD. We made this change about a year ago, so you no longer have to explant the device by completing the explant form when an oxygenator is attached. So now once a device is functioning as an RVAD, it can be entered into the database and it can stay there until it is decannulated and removed. So that's our last edit. It's just some helper text, no practice change or anything like that, just some text added to the explant form to help. And then here is a link to find all things Intermacs and Pedimacs. You can find our user's guide here, quality of life surveys, training videos, and then also here is the email address if you need help with your username or password, as well as the email address if you have any reporting questions. And then here is both Nancy's email address as well as mine. So if you have any questions, feel free to email us anytime. And then we do have some important dates coming up. The Q2 reports will be distributed September 30th. We will have our post-AQO Hot Topics webinar October 29th. We'll be bringing back speakers and looking at questions that came up during the conference. Similar to last year, anyone who registered for the AQO sessions will have access to the Hot Topics webinar. So looking forward to that. Please ensure that all data is entered by October 31st to ensure it's included in the Q3 report and SAS data sets. And then those reports will be distributed towards the end of the year. And then October 30th will be our next user group webinar at 1 p.m. Central. And all of our webinars are recorded, so you can listen anytime if you are unable to join. So I guess now we're going to just open up the remainder of the call for any questions that you may have. Please use the question and answer function to enter your questions. So let's see, do we have any questions yet? All right. Hi, John. I have an AE question about renal dysfunction, acute kidney injury criteria. John, if you want to put in the specifics of the question, you can, or you're welcome to email me, either way. And then another question on adverse event heart failure criteria. So for right heart failure, you can qualify for right heart failure different ways. When you go into add your adverse event and open up the right heart failure form, there's different criteria. So if the patient had what required ECMO or an RVAD during the implant operation, that's one way you can be entered. Another way is if you after being in the OR. So if it wasn't a BiVAD implanted, if you required RVAD or ECMO afterwards, if you required IV diuretics or IV inotropes for 72 hours or more. But all of that information, we have it available in our right heart failure definition in the Intermacs appendices, as well as the definitions are also within our data collection forms. But if you have specific questions, feel free to put them here, or you can email me. Oh, John, your question was about left-sided heart failure? Adverse event for LVAD. I'm not sure of your question.
Keep going down. So there's another one that says every time a creatinine goes up by 0.3.
Yes, that's true. Okay, so for acute renal dysfunction, yes, I'd have to look at the definition. I can't remember if it's 0.3 or 0.5.
I think isn't it 3 times?
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
tell you wrong.
I'm pulling those up right now.
Thank you, John. If you could just let me know what it says.
We're looking at renal, right?
Yes, and we're looking at if it increases, is it 0.3 above the baseline?
Increase in serum creatinine to 150% or of 0.3 milligrams per deciliter.
Yes, so if it does increase by
That's stage 1. Stage 2 is different stuff, but yeah.
0.3, yeah, so but if it continues to climb, it would be another adverse event. John, let me know if that didn't answer your question.
We can't.
Chat box. If everyone could put their questions in the Q&A,
Oh, let me set the
Would you
chat
agree?
box off.
but Stacy's asking if you could show the Coumadin fields again, that slide.
Oh, sure. Here you go, Stacy. Did you have a question, or you just wanted to take a peek at them?
And then are we to capture encephalopathy under ICU delirium for the AE neurodysfunction?
Sorry, Nancy, what was the question?
It was, are we to capture encephalopathy under ICU delirium for the AE neurodysfunction?
Yes. Yes, that should be under delirium if they are having delirium symptoms. Are those in the chat? Because I'm not seeing them here in the.
Yeah, those were in the chat. And then Kelly had asked a question and Addie answered, or Addie is going to answer her.
Okay.
And then there was a comment that it would be nice if all the definitions were standardized across to all the registries. Talking about ACC and CDR and vascular surgery, talking about the criteria for renal failure.
Understood. Okay.
I think that's it in the chat.
Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate that. I was looking at the questions and I was like, I don't see this. Okay. And then back to the other question box. Does breast cancer fall under the solid organ cancer section? That's a great question. And I don't know the answer to that. I would have to talk to one of the surgeons and get back to you on that. Nancy or Carol, do you happen to know if breast cancer is considered solid organ?
Now, 1 second, I'm looking for the question.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that either.
John's going to email you.
Okay.
I will say Dr. Google says that solid tumors consist of brain, ovary, breast, colon, and other tissues.
There you
But that-
go,
Yeah,
Dr. Google, Dr.
but
Google.
that is not one of the steering committee or PIs, et cetera, that's associated with SDS or Intermacs.
Really appreciate that, John.
Where was that question at?
So it's from CHA 2134. It's in the Q&A.
Oh, okay.
I don't see that.
Yeah, I would say yes, but it would probably be good to submit that, depending on what type of breast cancer. I would say to submit it to, as an FAQ for review, and you might require some more documentation to get an answer from the task force on that.
Okay, yeah, so if you could send that as a FAQ, as a question, and we'll discuss it and get back to you. So thank you, that was a great question. All right, and then from Latoyas, is there any conversation about Briovad and adding it to Intermacs as an implanting option in the future? So Latoyas, I just had heard about Briovad just a few days ago, and I'm not up to speed on all the ins and outs, if it's FDA approved. So we will have more information to come on that.
So I reached out to you on that, Patricia. And, my understanding would be that it's trying to get approval right now with an FDA trial, and if that's the case, then it does not fit the inclusion criteria. But yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah. Thank you,
Pat-
Latoyas. It's something I need to
Patricia,
pick up on. Yes, Carol.
well, can we go back to that creatinine question? Are you in, and just because I don't know, in Intermacs, do we use the rifle criteria or do we use some other criteria? And
So,
are we collecting dysfunction or are we collecting failure or both?
so let me pull it up, Carol, and I'll share it. So our
Okay.
definition comes from ARC. So let me see here. I can share it for everybody to see. So in case anyone's curious, I'm pulling up the adverse events definition in the Intermacs appendices under Appendix A. So if anyone wanted to take a look.
Okay. Oh, John posted it too for us there.
Can you see?
And we're collecting renal.
Do you guys see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
All right, let me find renal. Okay, so we have different stages. We have acute renal dysfunction, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. And then which stage you fit into is based off of the increase in the creatinine.
And the urine output.
Mm-hmm.
And this is dysfunction, so it's different than renal failure, where renal failure might be stage 3 dysfunction, but this is the ARC definition.
Yes.
Okay. Not augmented renal clearance. That's the ARC means consortium, isn't it I'm sorry, consortium?
Yes,
That-
that is the C.
Yeah. Because ARC means something else, and doesn't it mean acute, like renal clearance or something? And and when you're talking about kidneys, hold on.
And then it looks like, Carol, we have a couple people with their hands raised. We want to take them off mute. Did you all have questions about,
Let's see who that is.
you know? Let me see.
I've removed everybody who's had their hands up. I added them to talk. You could just unmute yourselves and go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Hi, Patricia. Good morning. Actually, good afternoon. It just seems excessive to enter an AE every time a creatinine bumps from, 0.8 to 1.1, which is a normal creatinine.
Yes.
Yeah, every time we're collecting dysfunction, we should probably bring that to the task force and ask them.
Yes, and Dr. Pagani, we have had conversations about this, and we're looking at revising some of our adverse events, renal being one of them. So yes, this discussion has been initiated. And sometimes, like you had just said, like sometimes it is still a normal creatinine. So is it really a stage 1? Just because there was an increase of 0.3. So
Yeah, and
yes,
even if you increase it, sometimes we even see like the increase of 3 times, which would make it a stage, a stage 3. If you go from an 8 to a 2.4,
Right.
that's still a 0.8 to a 2.4. That's still pretty normal, right? A creatinine of 2.4. But
Well, no, a creatinine of 2.4 is 2 times the upper limit of normal.
But when we're talking about renal failure, we're looking at creatinine of greater than 4. So it would not fall within, it might still signify dysfunction, but it's not classified as renal failure.
No,
And
but it's
so,
acute renal dysfunction.
correct.
Yeah.
I understand that. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is we're still collecting those as stage 3. And I think have some clarity on if we're collecting every stage 1 renal dysfunction or if we're most interested in stage 3 and beyond.
Right. Okay.
did anybody else that had their hand up have a question?
I guess just one more thing. When it comes to the chronic renal dysfunction, an increase in serum creatinine of 2 milligrams per deciliter or greater. So does that mean, because a chronic renal dysfunction is not an adverse event, it's just something goes under the comorbidities if they have chronic renal dysfunction. So an increase of 2, or is it a creatinine above 2?
Creatinine of 2 or greater.
It says an increase in serum creatinine. So it really should say, I guess, an increase in serum creatinine greater than 2 milligrams. I guess that's what it says.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
guess if you're a pre-implant, if your baseline was 0.8 and now you're 2.8.
Well, so you're saying it's an increase in creatinine by 2 milligrams per deciliter.
Right,
Over the baseline.
right,
So it's by 2 milligrams above the baseline.
above the
Okay. Okay.
Or you needed like hemodialysis for at least 90 days.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Great question. Did anybody else? Sue Ellen or Tara, did you guys have a question, or was that just raise your hand by mistake?
Patricia, I emailed you a question which we could talk offline.
Okay, that sounds great. I'll watch out for your email. I think I lost the Q&A. Do we have more questions? Oh, I think I got them here. And then the person KJW regarding the medication, did you have a question about a medication? I think I might have missed it. So if you wouldn't mind just putting it back in there. Okay, hi Anne. All right, when I Googled solid organ cancer, I got the answer of liver, kidneys, pancreas, spleen, thyroid, tongue, and ovaries. So maybe clarification would be helpful. Yeah, yes, we will get clarification, Anne, and we will get back to everybody on that and add that as an FAQ. I'm just trying to go through some of these questions. All right, Sue Ellen, hi. When will the recordings for the AQO in-session recordings be available on the STS website?
I can answer this. This is Emily Conrad with the STS. We are working on the edits to those in-session recordings now. We will be working on them through this week into next week, and we're adding them as they are done. And then STS will send an email to those that are attendees when everything is up on the website so that you know. If you also were an attendee for other sessions, adult cardiac and congenital are on the website now, and we're working through Intermacs. I am personally, and then my colleague in a different department is working on general thoracic. So in progress, but should be done by next week.
Great. Thank you so much, Emily. Emily, one more question just along those lines I had. If somebody did not buy virtual pass for AQO and they were interested in doing that so they could attend the hot topics, is that still possible or is that registration closed?
That is still possible. We're going to keep the virtual pass option open until mid-November, and you can claim credit through mid-December. So we'll be keeping it open for a little bit of time here. And then to speak to what you were talking about with access to the content, we'll have it up on the virtual platform that it's currently on until December, when we when that credit date is, and then we'll transition it onto our internal STS learning center. So it'll look a little different, but the content will still be there, and you'll have availability to that content until AQO of next year. How much does it cost? It is, I believe, $500 for non-members of STS right now, and I can put I'll put the registration email address in the chat.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, who else has questions? Go ahead and put them in and we're here to answer them. And then just while we're waiting on a couple more questions, just a reminder, our next Intermacs Pedimacs Data Managers webinar will be on October 30th. And that's a Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central. So that will be coming up. All right, well, I don't see any other questions. If you do think of anything, feel free to email myself or Nancy Honeycutt. And thank you, everybody, for joining today. And we will talk again in October. So thank you so much.